Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to read chapters 41 and 42. I'll read the chapter, ask a question, read the next chapter, and ask another question. All right, so we are almost done with Fish in a Tree. I hope you guys have been liking this story. So let's go ahead and read the next chapter. All right, chapter 41, Not So Secret Letter. In that foggy time between sleeping and being awake, before I even open my eyes, I already remember that I am class president. I ask myself if it was a dream, knowing that it wasn't, knowing by the way it feels like my insides are rising into the air before I sit up. It's like when you wake up on Christmas morning and remember what day it is. I lie there thinking that I'm happy Mr. Daniels counted the votes in front of everyone. I don't think I would have believed him if he'd just said I'd won later. When I get to school, everyone acts the same. But I feel different. I put my stuff away and head to my desk, where I find an envelope with my name on the front. Weird. I sit down and slide it off the desk. Glancing around, I pull a piece of paper from the envelope. I expect it will be a note from Mr. Daniels congratulating me, but it's not. It's a full page of cursive writing. I recognize some of the words like love, but I don't know what most of it says. The name at the bottom is Max. I look over at him, and he nods once. I look away, feeling like my face must be glowing like Rudolph's nose. I fold up the letter and slide it into my pocket, wishing I could read it. I think that when I get home and can study it, I may be able to figure it all out. But I can't stare at it now. I look over at Keisha, who is putting her things in the closet. Hey, she says, sitting down. Hey. My mouth opens to tell her about the note, but she's not the best person at being quiet about things, and I'm afraid everyone will find out about it. So I take a deep breath and decide it will have to wait. I don't have a choice. I'm both happy and mad at myself. Happy about the note, and mad I can't read it. Max is cute, and I like the red and white football jersey that he wears all the time. And now that I think he likes me, I think I might like him too. So how does it feel to be president? Keisha smiles. Oh yeah, man, this may be the best week of my entire life. Same old stuff, I say. Huh, same old stuff. Already gone to your head. Don't worry, I still talk to you and everything. Like you could ever ignore me, and we both laugh. Okay, my fantasticos, Mr. Daniels begins. He reminds us to put our homework in the basket and gets the class helpers working on lunch counts and stuff. And I sit up straighter, feeling like I have a place in this class. After Mr. Daniels finishes with the boring morning stuff, he says, one more thing. Our new class president, Allie Nickerson, has her first student government meeting today. So if you have any suggestions for her, please let her know. If you have ideas for changes, she's the one in charge. I know that I shouldn't smile, but keeping my mouth from smiling is like trying to keep Travis from loving cars. The first suggestion I get is from Oliver. I'm trying to do my work and he stands in front of my desk. I have a suggestion. Okay, what is it? I think we should be able to bring candy for snacks, like piles of it, like dump trucks backing up to the school with the warning beeper going, and then it would dump like a huge pile of candy in the front of the school, and the kids could use shovels to collect it. Because that rule they made this year about healthy snacks is dumb and took away the only thing I liked about school. Oliver? Mr. Daniels interrupts. He looks up. You have a question? I'm giving my advice to the president. I have an idea. He half smiles. Okay then, well finish up and get back to your seat. Oliver looks back at me. Okay, can you do that? I'll try. He looks disappointed. Suki interrupts. I disagree. The healthier snack roll was good. It's bad for your body to fill it with candy. He looks over at her. Stop acting like you're a grown-up. Jeez. Other kids give me suggestions, too. Just before lunch, I hear Shay complaining that if she'd been elected, she'd have started a horseback riding club at school. For a second, I feel bad, and then I realize she couldn't possibly do that. Horses? Where would we get horses? I think about starting a Fly to the Moon every Thursday club, and a mind movie plays in my head of silver rockets with blue stripes flying to the moon with Keisha, Albert, and me strapped in. Albert calmly explains the energy required to lift the rocket. Keisha is screaming. She's so happy, and I'm laughing because I'm happy they're happy. I pulled out of my movie by Shay, who's standing in front of me. Everyone agrees you should go crawl into a hole and never come out. Since I won the election, I guess not everyone feels that way. And I'm surprised that instead of saying something back to me, she just stomps off. At the end of the day, as we are getting ready to board the buses, Shay tromps up to me with her shadow Jessica right behind her. So, did you get the letter? Why is she asking me about a letter? Or about the letter? A little voice in my head warns me. What letter? Shay glances behind her and turns away. You know, the letter. What are you talking about? I ask. She's impatient. The letter, she drops her voice to a whisper, from Max, saying you should meet him for lunch. You never showed. He's really disappointed. Oh, he is? She glances behind herself again. So, do you like him? Why did you want to see me at lunch? Allie, you can't just ignore something like that. It's rude. I see Max coming, but don't say anything. She continues. He really likes you, so you should answer Max's letter and say the thing in it that he says too, okay? Will you tomorrow? What letter? He asks. Max. Oh, hi, Shay says, stumbling over her words. What letter? You said my name. I never thought I'd see Shay unable to talk. Actually, I say, the love letter Shay says you wrote to me. I hand it to him. Thanks very much, but I'm busy. Wait. I didn't actually, he says to me, trying to be nice. Then he looks at the letter and at Shay and Jessica, and he doesn't look so nice. Jessica turns pale, but not as pale as Shay does. Whatever was going to happen at the lunch table is something I'm lucky to have missed. It's the first time I've ever been grateful to not be able to read. All right, so that was chapter 41. Think about the letter from Max. Is the letter really from Max? And what clues in the reading help us know who actually wrote the letter? So write a sentence or two about that. If you need to push pause, you can. And when you unpause, we'll start chapter 42. Chapter 42, The Gifts of No Excuses, Scotch Tape, and Antibiotics. Mr. Daniels calls me up to his desk. Here, I have something for you. I'm excited until I see it's a book. Not like I hate them like I used to, but they still scare me. I stare at it, hoping he just wants to book talk it, not actually read it. I would like you to read this. I open my mouth to speak, my mind already rolling out multiple excuses. He puts his hand up. Listen, Allie, I know it won't be easy. I know it will take time, but the thing is, my excuses become harder to say. I think you can read this one, and I want you to try it. I reach out and take the book, which is a picture of a kid holding a goldfish bowl. I flip through the pages. The book isn't long, as far as the chapters go. That's a relief. I look at him and hold his gaze. Normally, I'd be giving him all kinds of reasons I can't do this. But the thing is, Mr. Daniels could hand me a book as heavy as a boulder, and I would try to read it, just because he asked me to. Okay, we are going to begin a unit on persuasive writing, Mr. Daniels says. So I'd like you to tell me, if you could have an unlimited amount of any single object, what would it be? It can't be magical, have special powers, or anything like that. Just an ordinary, everyday type of object. Well, obviously, Shay speaks slowly like she's talking to a little kid. Wouldn't everyone just choose money? Albert looks confused. Not something I see too often. The first thing I thought was antibiotics. Really? Mr. Daniels stepped forward, putting his hand in his pockets. There are many who can't afford medication, so I would like to give them out to people who need them, all over the world. Then he seems to be thinking out loud. I wonder if antibiotics would help or hurt alien life forms. Well, Shay sputters, if you had an unlimited amount of money, you could buy the medicine, right? I catch her rolling her eyes at Jessica. He shrugs. I'd just rather have the medicine. Scotch tape, Oliver yells. I would want Scotch tape. Most of us laugh along with him. And why is that, Oliver? Mr. Daniels asks. Because it's awesome, that's why. People don't think how tough life would be without Scotch tape. Mr. Daniels nods. You may have a point there, Oliver. Or Elmer's glue. I love Elmer's glue. If I had barrels of it stored up in the garage, I could cover my hands with it every day and then peel it off. I love doing that. And it grosses my mom out. I tell her it's my skin. Shay makes a noise. What? Oliver asks her. That's ridiculous, she says. What's ridiculous? He asks. The opinions of others are to be respected, Mr. Daniels says, but Shay and Oliver talk right over him. Wanting tape and glue, Shay says. No, it isn't, because I would use them with paper to make notes for my little sister. They make her feel better. Make her feel better, Mr. Daniels seems concerned. Is she ill? Oh, not anymore. But she had something that was called, well, it was long. It had 5 syllables, and she had to go to the hospital a lot to sleep over. And when she'd go, I'd visit her and bring her cards, and they made her happy. My mom says I was the one who helped her get better. I see. Well, Oliver, you get huge creativity points today. Mr. Daniel messes up his hair. You're one of a kind, you know that, Oliver? Sookie raises her hand. Grandfather says everyone is unique, special, unlike all others. That makes us each great. I like that, Sookie, Mr. Daniel says. And you are indeed great. She remains seated but bows a bit. Thank you, sir. Mr. Daniels bows back and then stands up straight. In fact, you're all great, my fantasticos. Albert raises his hand, and Mr. Daniels nods towards him. Excuse me, but just because something is unique, that doesn't mean it's good. After all, E. coli, a dangerous bacteria, is unlike all others. Okay, point taken, Albert, but I do like that people are all different. What if we all looked the same, thought the same, had the same beliefs? That sounds boring, Keisha says. Indeed it does, he says. I think that I wouldn't mind being more like everyone else, but then I think I wouldn't want to draw like everyone else, and I wouldn't want to act like Shay or Jessica. All of a sudden there is screaming. It was Oliver. Ant murderer! Ant murderer! What is it, Oliver? Mr. Daniels asked. He points at Shay. Ant murderer! All I did was step on a dumb ant. What is he so freaked out about? You had no right to kill him. He was just walking by. You think it was a him? It's just a dumb ant. Who cares? I care, Oliver says, getting down on all fours with the tissue to check out the ant, which is clearly dead. He cleans it up with the tissue and slips it into his pocket. You're going to keep that, she mutters. Well, I'm not just going to throw him in the garbage. I'll bury him at home. She begins to laugh. Shay, Mr. Daniels says, there will be none of that. And she stops. We are all different. We care about some things. Oliver cares about others. We have to work to accept each other, even though we may not agree. Yeah, Oliver yells. And Oliver, Mr. Daniels says, I think you have to cut Shay a break here. It's pretty common for people to step on ants. So, Oliver, he asks, and waits. Oliver turns to Shay and mumbles, sorry, and climbs back into his seat. Thank you, Oliver. Mr. Daniels wanders over to Oliver's desk. I'm glad you apologized. Now that you have, he leans over and rests his hands on his knees. I'd like to add that you have one of the kindest hearts I know. You care so much about everything, always looking out for others, and that, my fine young fellow, is going to make you a great man someday. All right, so Allie really wasn't too much in this chapter at all. It was a lot of Shay and Oliver, a little bit of Albert. So Oliver, we've heard about him before, but he's like the main character in this chapter. So what did we learn about him today in this chapter? Write down a couple sentences and send that to Miss Whitener or myself, and have a good day. I'll see you later. Bye.